We actually pay attention to what's going on in some of these cases. We can actually use the law to help ourselves. Now, in class yesterday, I think I may have come across a solution that we've been working on regarding what happens when a clerk is the affiant on a criminal complaint against you in the same court where that complaint is being heard. We've got a double-edged sword issue going on here. The first, of course, we've talked about many times, which is the fact that the clerk is acting as an agent of the judge. And as the affiant on the complaint, that means the judge is the affiant. So the judge is both the complaining witness and the judge is presiding over the case. That cannot happen. Agency becomes a big issue right there. The second is this. When we went through the process yesterday, there were some questions I was starting to do the clerk. The process here is simple. Since the clerk is the affiant on the complaint, that makes them the accuser, and whether state wants them to be or not, state's star witness, because they are the affiant on the criminal complaint. The state will never call their star witness. They will only call the officer who has firsthand witness knowledge of the event. But the clerk is the accuser because they signed the complaint, i.e. the judge signed the complaint. So we subpoena the clerk to appear. We get the clerk to testify who they are, what their job is, to describe their job. We ask them, is part of your job to create and sign these criminal complaints? Yes, it is. Are these criminal complaints supposed to be signed under penalty of perjury? Yes, they are. And you become aware of the facts associated with this complaint. How? Well, they're brought in through the citation that's turned into us by the police department. We look at them, we enter the facts in, we generate the complaint, and then we sign it. So do you actually believe the information that's put into the complaint? Well, I believe that the ticket's information is accurate, so when we put it into the complaint, we create the complaint, and when I swear to it, I believe that something's gone on because there wouldn't be a ticket otherwise. Okay, and are you on the payroll clock when you're doing your job of creating and signing these complaints? Well, yeah, I am. Okay, so what you're telling me is that if you don't create these criminal complaints and swear to them, you don't get paid. Well, yeah, we have to do that as part of our job. So someone pays you to sign a document under penalty of perjury that all the information in it is true and correct. Is that your testimony? Well, yeah. And again, for clarification, if you won't do this job and by creating these complaints and swearing to their truthfulness, will you get paid? Well, no. Okay, fine. Now we have this problem of a witness has been paid to sign the accusing instrument, and they've been paid by the very entity who is attempting to prosecute you and who is also presiding over your case. And the ticket was issued by one of its own enforcement agents. Does anyone besides me see a problem here? We now have on the record the clerk admitting they were paid to swear to certain facts. Now we know, and you can ask the clerk, is the prosecutor aware that you work in this position? Well, yeah, I talk to the prosecutor every day. And is the prosecutor aware that you are paid to produce these documents that he uses to prosecute in this court? Well, yeah, he knows I work in the clerk's office. He knows that they have to pay us to work there. We're city employees. So, again, the prosecutor absolutely knows that you're being paid to swear to the complaints that he uses to prosecute these cases. Well, yeah. Does the prosecutor also happen to know that the source of those complaints Is the citation issued by yet another city employee who is currently sitting in or preceded you in the witness stand? Well, I'm sure he does. I mean, he talks to the police officers all the time and blah, blah, blah. And while we're on the subject, could you please tell the jury who the judge works for? Well, he works for the city of Austin. As do you, correct? Yes. As does the prosecutor, correct? Yes. As does the officer, correct? Yes. And so you're all being paid by the city to generate the criminal complaint, prosecute the criminal complaint, witness to the facts in the criminal complaint, and preside over the case in which the criminal complaint is being used. Is that accurate? Now, the clerk is going to freely go, well, yeah, because from a legal standpoint, they're a brick. They have no clue what they just confessed to. But I guarantee you everybody else whose identity was mentioned is now sweating bullets. Because they do know. This clerk just hung them all in a federal RICO suit. This is organized criminal activity, people. And even the state legislature cannot authorize that. This is corrupt influence, and everything else. There's no question of it. Welcome to the world of stealth justice. This is at the point where you can look at the judge and go, "That's the game," to quote a famous lawyer movie. So, this is how we set them up, or at least this is how I've worked out that we can set them up. And we nail everybody. What do you think the reaction is going to be? While the prosecutor is attempting to object to this, you can sit there and say, "Judge, excuse me, whoa. This is my accuser. I have every right to determine how the accuser got in possession of the information they used to accuse me, how they find it relevant, whether or not they actually believe something occurred, and whether or not they've been paid to act as a witness in this case. Or at the very least, how they've been paid to act as my accuser." What do you mean I can't get that into the record? Are you nuts? Game over. All right? This is about playing smart law. This is not about outsmarting them. This is simply about playing smart regardless. Okay? We can do this. We just have to learn the rules of the game and how they apply. All right, Johnny, Gene, I see y'all there on the board. Please hang on. We've got less than 2 minutes left before we go to break again, and I don't want to wind up running over on the clock in case I don't hear the music. So I will pick you up on the other side of the break, so please be patient.